Hi there, my name is Marcus and I'm part of the customer success team here at Junip. Welcome to the Klaviyo video series, where we're going to be walking you through each part of our integration with Klaviyo, which allows you to send all of your review messages through their platform. This is super powerful for brands who are using Klaviyo because it means you get more flexibility around your review messages. It also means that those review messages are living in the same place as all of the other ones you're sending on a day-to-day basis. So this video, we're going to be talking about setting up the integration and all of the basics that come along with it. First thing I wanted to mention is that in our Junip Help Center, we have a comprehensive guide on the Klaviyo integration. So this will go through everything we're talking about today. I suggest having a look at it in case you miss a step or want to make sure everything is set up properly. I'll also be referring to it today in our video. So we'll want to start in our Junip admin. If you go to the bottom left-hand side, integrations, you'll want to find the Klaviyo integration. I already have it installed in this account, so you'll see it under the installed header. If not, you'll find it under all apps. We'll want to click on it, and the bottom right, we'll see an install button. And once you click on that, it'll open up a dialog box with a link to go to your API key list in Klaviyo. From here, we want to create a private API key. We can name this Junip, and we'll want to select full access key. Then we can click create. You'll want to copy this key, jump back into your Junip dashboard, and paste it in. Now we've installed Klaviyo. We'll want to head into our messages section under flows. You're going to see the automations that Junip has set up and ready to go for you. The first one we're going to look at is the post-purchase review request flow. So I'm going to click edit beside that. And this is a really great visual of how things are laid out. So we have a trigger, which is when an order is fulfilled or delivered. We have conditions, so we're going to wait 2 days after that. And then we have an action. In this case, it's send email from Junip. Setting up the Klaviyo integration means we'll want to change this so that we can send the email through Klaviyo instead. It's really easy to do this. We'll just want to edit this action and select Klaviyo. The benefit of editing the action as opposed to adding a new one and then deleting the old one is that we get to keep the queue as it is if we edit it. If we delete and add a new one, we'll just start from scratch with the queue. So you'll also want to make sure you configure the trigger and conditions so that they match your expectations. When we're ready to go, we can turn this on. This will mean that Junip starts sending those events to Klaviyo, but it does not mean we're going to start sending emails just yet. We still need to set things up on Klaviyo's end, but I do recommend turning this flow on ASAP because then we can start getting some events into Klaviyo to preview. It also means that we won't forget this later on. We will have that check at the end, so when we actually turn on the email in Klaviyo, that's when emails will be sent. So we can decide when to do that when we're ready. In this case, we're just going to start getting that information in Klaviyo. So this is all good to go. We're going to click on back, and then we're going to edit our next automation, which is review submitted actions. This one's triggered when a review is submitted. And you'll see here there's already an action set up with some conditions by default. This is going to work for us for now. All we want to do here is click add beside Klaviyo. And you'll see now we've just added a new branch that's basically as soon as a review is submitted, there are no conditions. We're just going to send that event to Klaviyo, which is perfect because there's a lot of cool stuff we can do in Klaviyo with this event. So this is good to go. Reminder, we'll also want to turn this on again so that we can start sending those events into Klaviyo when relevant. So we now have things set up in Junip. This means that any new orders that are fulfilled or delivered will be sent as an event to Klaviyo, and any new reviews that are submitted will also send an event to Klaviyo. Everything is ready on the Junip side. We'll just want to finish up our setup on Klaviyo's end. So if we hop into our Klaviyo account and we go over to flows, we are going to want to create a new flow to pick up that event we're sending. So create flow in the top right and then create from scratch. You can name this whatever you like. I'm going to do something like post-purchase review request flow. And if you are organizing your flows with tags, feel free to add one. If not, we're good to create the flow. Now we're going to want to select that Junip event as the trigger. So we'll select metric, and then we're going to scroll down to find Junip review request. We're going to add a trigger and flow filter. So we'll start with a trigger filter. We're going to select all items reviewed as the dimension, and we actually want a different setup here. So we're going to select Boolean as the type. This allows us to do true or false. So we want to say all items reviewed is false. This is going to be a check to make sure the customer hasn't already reviewed the products they purchased. If they have, we're not going to want to add them to this flow because we don't want to request a review from them again. If they haven't reviewed the products, they'll be allowed into the flow. Next is our flow filter. We're going to select what someone has done or not done. Our metric is going to be Junip review submitted, which is here. And then we want it to say, person has Junip review submitted 0 times since starting this flow. Awesome. Now we can click save and done. That last flow filter is going to act as a cancellation trigger. So if someone submits a review while in the flow, we will take them out of the flow. This is really great because if we decide to do a reminder email or SMS message after the first one, if they've left a review, they'll be taken out and won't be given that review request email. If they haven't left a review, then they can stick around and be asked again if that's what we choose to do. Next, we'll want to drag in an email after our trigger, and we can go ahead and start setting up this email. So I'm going to call this my review request email 1, and my subject line is going to be don't keep it to yourself. Feel free to add your own subject line here as well. Next, I'm going to click drag and drop to start creating our template. If you have an email template that you use as the base for most of your emails, feel free to jump into my templates and select that, and we can work from there. I'm going to assume we don't have any email templates to work off of, so we're going to start with the most basic 1-column email template. So I'm going to walk you through how to set up a basic post-purchase review request flow email, and then again, feel free to make any changes you like to the copy or the design, but we can use this as a starting point. So I'm going to select my logo as the image here, and I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Great. I'm not the most creative personally, so I'm going to hop into our Klaviyo guide here under the doc for creating an email, and I'm going to use the sample copy that we've included here. So you'll see I'm going to copy and paste some of this into my email. So to start, my header is going to say, hey, so-and-so. And that's just using a dynamic Klaviyo variable there. And then I'm going to replace all of that text with a simple, take a second to review your purchase. Awesome. I'm going to center align this, and that looks good. Next, I'm going to drag in another text box right underneath the first one, and I'm going to click on the source code button here for this text box. Then I'm going to hop back into that Klaviyo doc, and you'll see here we've included some code that you can pop into your email. So I'm going to select what's there, get rid of it, and paste in that code from the doc. Click done, and you'll see that it doesn't look great now, but it will show, it'll dynamically pull in the products the customer has purchased, and they can click on any of those products to start leaving a review for it. Next, I'm going to drag in a button, and this will be an additional CTA that we can offer. I'm going to change the text to say leave a review, and then you'll see in the guide we do tell you exactly what variable to put in for your button URL. I'm going to go the long way just to show you how this works. I think it's super helpful to know. So to get that URL, we want it to be dynamic, right? We want it to change for each customer, and when they click on it, it takes them into the review experience for the products they've purchased. Seamless experience. So to do that, we want to pull in the proper variable. If we click on preview and test here, you're going to see that on the right-hand side is a bunch of information that we send as part of the event that we're sending to Klaviyo. And so if you wanted to pull any of this into the email dynamically, all you have to do is click on the actual variable, and you'll see there Klaviyo copies it onto your clipboard. You can then paste in an email, and again, it'll pull that in kind of dynamically for each customer. In our case, we want to pull the order review URL variable. This is the most important CTA. So if you take anything from this email, it's that we want this CTA included, and this will allow the customer to review any of the products in this order, any of the products that they purchase in this order. So I've clicked on that, it's copied it to my clipboard. I'm going to click on done, and then I can pop into my email and paste it in there as such. That is set up properly. Now I can click done. This is a super basic email template, but it gives you an idea of what this looks like. And so if I go back into preview and test, you're going to see it's going to say, hey, so-and-so, take a second to review your recent purchase. It's going to show the products they've purchased in their recent order, and they can click on the product itself or on the CTA to start leaving a review for those products. In your case, if you've just set up this email and this integration, you won't have any real events in Klaviyo just yet. That's why we turn on the flows. But for the time being, you're going to see a test event, which looks something like this. You're going to have placeholder products, which are going to be cardboard boxes, and you're going to have, you can pop in the email the review URL, but it's not going to take you to a review form. It's going to take you to example.com. If it does this, that means you set everything up properly, and as soon as there's a real event coming in from Klaviyo, this will work. This is just to tell you, though, that seeing the cardboard boxes is not a bad thing. It actually means that you've done everything properly. You're just looking at our test event, which is there to start you off. Awesome. So we've now set up a basic email template. We can click Save and Exit. If you want to save this as a template, feel free to do that here to use it in other flows. And obviously feel free to make any tweaks you want to this email template so that you're happy with it. From there, if we go back into our flow, this flow is ready to go. I'm just going to wait for it to load here. Awesome. So this flow is ready to go. I might turn off smart sending just because I want this email to go out to as many people as possible. Again, totally your call, but this flow is super basic and it's ready to go. To start, when I'm ready with my email, I'm ready to start actually sending those emails. This is that check I mentioned earlier. I can turn my flow on by turning the status of my first email to live. This means that those events will be sent from Junip into Klaviyo, and this will send an email. Another thing you can consider doing is adding a time delay after that first email, let's say 5 days. And then maybe I want to send a reminder email. And I can maybe clone my first email and then pop it after the delay. So in this case, they're going to get the first email and then wait 5 days. If they still haven't left a review, they'll get that second email. If they have left a review, we will take them out of the flow. Remember with that trigger field to reset up. And in this case, I would recommend changing this second email so that's different from the first. Our reminder should have a little bit more urgency. Maybe we put their name in the subject line, and we also want to change it up a little bit, the structure of it, so they don't think they're getting the exact same email. I'll leave that to you. This flow would be ready to go. And again, just to kind of wrap things up, so far in this video, we set up the Klaviyo integration in Junip. We turned on these flows so that when an order is fulfilled or delivered, we're going to wait X amount of days, send the event to Klaviyo, and then Klaviyo is going to pick it up, put it in this flow, and we're going to send the email or SMS message through Klaviyo. So thanks so much for walking through that with me. We'll be creating some more videos about some of the other things you can do with this integration. In the meantime, let us know if you have any questions at all, either by emailing support@junipHQ.com or in your Junip admin. You'll see on any screen you have support chat in app, and I'll be happy to answer any of the questions that come up there as well.